Have you ever noticed how most people walk through life like they're watching a movie of their own existence? They're not actually living their life, they're living a story about their life. There's a profound difference between experiencing the world directly and experiencing our interpretation of the world. Think about it. Right now, as you listen to these words, you have two layers of experience happening simultaneously. There's the raw, immediate sensation of this moment, the sound reaching your ears, the air filling your lungs, the presence of your body in space. And then there's the commentary track running in your mind, labeling everything, judging everything, comparing everything to the past or projecting it into the future. Most of us spend our entire lives trapped in that commentary track, mistaking our thoughts about life for life itself. We've built an incredible civilization on our ability to create mental models of the world. Language, mathematics, science, art. All of these depend on our capacity to represent reality through symbols and concepts. These tools have given us tremendous power, but they've also created a fundamental problem that most people never recognize. We've become so skilled at thinking about the world that we've forgotten how to simply be in it. Consider money for a moment. Paper bills and digital numbers in a bank account aren't wealth themselves. They're symbols representing wealth. Yet people will sacrifice their health, their relationships, their present moment happiness, chasing these symbols as if they were the real thing. The map has become more important than the territory. The same thing happens with your identity. You have an image of yourself, a collection of stories, beliefs, labels, and memories that you call me. You defend this image. You're proud of parts of it and ashamed of other parts. You work tirelessly to improve this self-image, to make it more impressive, more successful, more worthy. But here's the radical truth. That image isn't you. It's a mental construct, a conceptual model, a story. The real you exists before and beyond all of these concepts. The boundaries we perceive between ourselves and the rest of existence are largely conceptual. Where does you actually end and not you begin? Is the oxygen you breathe part of you or separate from you? What about the food that becomes your cells, the ideas that shape your thoughts, the relationships that define your experience? These divisions exist primarily in our minds, not in reality itself. Most human beings are caught in a pattern of compulsive thinking. From the moment you wake up until you fall asleep, and often even in your dreams, there's an endless stream of mental chatter. Planning, remembering, imagining, judging, comparing, worrying, fantasizing. You talk to yourself constantly. And here's the critical insight. If you're always talking, you can never truly listen. When your mind is filled with noise, when you're perpetually lost in thought, you're cut off from direct experience. You're living in a world made entirely of concepts, entirely of symbols, entirely of abstractions. You're thinking about life instead of living it. This is why so many people feel disconnected, anxious, and unfulfilled, despite having everything they thought they wanted. They're never actually present for their own lives. They're always somewhere else, replaying the past or rehearsing the future. The conversation in your head becomes your prison. Your thoughts about reality replace reality itself. And because thoughts are often repetitive, negative, and fear-based, you end up suffering over situations that exist only in your mind. But here's the liberating truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness in which thoughts appear, and you have the ability to step out of the thought stream and into direct, immediate presence. This is where the practice of mindfulness, meditation, or whatever you want to call it, becomes revolutionary. Not as another task on your to-do list, not as a self-improvement project, but as a radical return to what is. The practice is remarkably simple. Become silent, not just outwardly, but inwardly. Allow the mental chatter to settle. Stop the constant conversation with yourself. When you do this, something extraordinary happens. You discover that life exists independent of your thoughts about it. Reality continues unfolding whether you're thinking about it or not. And when you're not lost in thought, you can actually experience that unfolding directly. You notice the aliveness of this moment, the subtle sensations in your body, the quality of light, the space around you, the simple fact of existence itself. This isn't about achieving some special state or having a mystical experience. It's about recognizing what's already here when you stop covering it up with constant mental activity. In this space of presence, you realize something profound. There is only now. The past exists as memory, which is happening now. The future exists as imagination and anticipation, which is also happening now. All of your actual experience, everything you've ever truly lived, has happened in the present moment. Tomorrow never actually arrives. When it comes, it's today. It's now. It's always now. Here's where we need to completely flip our usual way of thinking. We've been conditioned to believe that everything should have a purpose, a goal, an outcome. Always trying to get somewhere, become someone, achieve something. But consider activities like dancing or playing music. When you dance, you're not trying to arrive at a particular spot on the floor. When you play a song, the point isn't to reach the end as quickly as possible. If it were, the fastest musicians would be the best. The activity itself is the point. The doing is the destination. Life is the same way. But we've been taught to treat it like a journey with a destination, a problem to be solved, a project to be completed. We tell ourselves, I'll be happy when I get the promotion, when I find the relationship, when I achieve the goal. This is the great postponement. Happiness delayed, peace postponed, life put on hold until some future condition is met. But what if you approach life the way you approach music or dance? What if you recognize that the point of life isn't to arrive somewhere in the future, but to be fully alive right now? This doesn't mean you stop growing, learning, or creating. It means you stop making your peace and fulfillment conditional on future outcomes. You stop treating the present moment as a means to an end and start experiencing it as the end itself. When you practice presence in this way, not as a grim duty, not as another form of self-improvement, but as a return to simple being, something shifts. Life stops feeling like a burden and starts feeling like a gift. You don't need to achieve presence. You don't need to become good at it. You don't need to judge your progress or worry about doing it right. These are just more thoughts, more concepts, more ways of making something complicated that is utterly simple. Presence is your natural state. It's what's here when you stop doing, stop striving, stop performing. It's the awareness that was here, BF. Or you learned language before you constructed an identity, before you got lost in the maze of thought. And in this presence, there's a natural sense of peace, of completeness, of okayness that doesn't depend on external circumstances. Not because you've solved all your problems or fixed everything in your life, but because you've stopped being at war with what is. You discover that underneath all the mental noise, underneath all the anxiety and striving, there's a fundamental well-being. There's an aliveness that doesn't need anything added to it. This is what it means to truly live. Not to think about living, not to plan for living in the future, but to be fully present for the extraordinary miracle of existence happening right now. So here's my invitation to you. Stop, just for a moment. Feel the life in your body. Notice the breath moving in and out. Hear the sounds around you without labeling them. Feel the space you're in. This moment, this ordinary, unremarkable moment, is all you have. It's all you've ever had. It's all anyone has ever had. Stop waiting for your life to begin. Stop postponing your peace until conditions are perfect. Stop living in your head and start living in your direct experience. The point of life. The place where everything happens. The only moment you can truly be alive is right here, right now. Not as a concept, not as an idea, but as the living, breathing reality of this present moment. This is it. This is life. And it's absolutely enough.